Today is Good Friday, March 29, 2024. And today in our history, God is watching his son, Christ, being beaten almost to death, humiliated, spit on, flesh just torn apart, being whipped. The images that we see in our churches are not accurate. Jesus's flesh was ripped off. Basically, anywhere there was any flesh, it was raw, whipped, stoned, spat upon, thorns. Not that they took a crown of thorns and just placed it on his head. They shoved it into his skull, piercing his skull all the way around. They chanted, they cheered, and all the while, to add insult to injury, kept asking him to perform a miracle to save himself, which he did not. He carried his cross to Golgotha. They took 8-inch spikes, put it right through his wrists, right through his feet. And you got to remember that he's raw and he's exposed, almost naked. You wrecked him, and then they hang him there to rest. And while he was dying, suffering, taunted, and all of the, if you look up the science of what scientists think or believe was happening to him physically, it's pretty impressive how the scientists state that the way that Christ's body was breaking down was slow and very traumatic. And a lot of the things that were happening to him, like the way he was, blood was coming out of his pores. These are serious stress-related things that the body will do in times of great duress. And skin, flesh was ripped from his back, hanging, his ribs exposed, his spine exposed. And this guy, he's up there and he's surrounded by this audience because it's like a movie for them, right? The problem with Jesus, as opposed to other people that were crucified at the time, is that Jesus had become popular. And you know that humans, our natural inclination sometimes is to tear down people that are popular. We like to see people crumble. And for the 3 years of his ministry, a lot of people came to hate Jesus, what he stood for, which was what? Be good to each other, love each other, follow me. I'm the Son of God. I am God. I am the Messiah. And if you believe in me, you're all going to go to heaven. And by the way, while I'm here on earth, I'm going to perform some amazing miracles, healing the blind, lepers, people that were paraplegic, anything. And the ones that are in the Bible are just the ones that they talk about. They're not all of the miracles that he performed. They're just a little bit, a nugget of what Jesus performed. And while he's up on this cross dying, there's a guy on his right and a guy on his left. And I believe it was one guy mocking him, saying, hey, why don't you perform a miracle and get us off here? The other guy says, hush your mouth. Don't you know who this man is? He's done nothing wrong. And Jesus looks over at him and says, hey, you're going to be with me in heaven, and forgives him. And then he looks out at everybody that's there taunting him and mocking him, and believe that a lot of the apostles, his disciples, were hiding out. They were afraid. Of course, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's the women that are there at his side, at his feet, his mother, I think Mary of Magdalene. And he has enough compassion to look out, see what's happening, and then tilt his head up and ask his dad to forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. And that just makes my heart ache, because if anybody laid a finger on my kid, my wife, I think I would lose it. I wouldn't know what to do. I would have gotten so angry, destroyed them all. But Jesus asked his Father to forgive them, and then dies on our behalf, naked, beaten like an animal, worse than an animal. And that's why we celebrate Good Friday, to remember that somebody suffered something immeasurable, something that I know that I could never withstand, I would have folded. I would have been like, yep, not the Messiah, not me. I never said that. Just like Peter and all the others, I probably would have hidden. So powerful. I'm working on my prayer, praying for myself, praying for my wife, praying for my kids, praying for you, all of us, my neighbors, my community, my country, the world. Jesus didn't come out here and say them, those guys. He said all of us, all of us. No them, no they, just all of us. Didn't matter where you were from, didn't matter what color your skin was. We're all family, right? Take care of each other, love thy neighbor, brothers and sisters. And I feel like we've gotten so far away from that. On today's Good Friday, remember that somebody died for you, loved you enough to give up their life without even knowing you personally, or better said, knowing you, and you're not even being here yet. Loved you so much that he gave up his life. A God that loved you so much that he let us sacrifice his son, that when we make mistakes, sin, all we have to do is ask for forgiveness. And if we mean it, it's a clean slate each and every time for any and all sins, all sins. The miracle that separates us from any other faith, separates Christianity from any other faith, is coming this Sunday. Have a blessed weekend. Keep the Lord in your mind. And if you don't know Jesus, do a little Google search and at least understand what his mission was, his purpose, and whether or not you love him or believe in him, he loved you, no matter what. Thank you for the support. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing, and supporting LordandArmor.com. God bless you guys. Be well.